Today we're delving into the top 5 most odd experiments that will send shivers down your spine and leave you questioning the limits of human curiosity. Get ready to be captivated and perhaps a little unsettled as we uncover these chilling experiments from the annals of history. Imagine your hand glowing in the dark after handling a peculiar rock. That's exactly what happened to Marie Curie in 1898. In the heart of Paris, Marie and her husband Pierre Curie embarked on an experimental journey, a journey that would forever change our understanding of the world. They were intrigued by a strange mineral called pitchblende, a rock that emitted an eerie glow. Driven by curiosity and a thirst for knowledge, the Curies began to investigate. They spent countless hours in their makeshift laboratory handling these radioactive substances with bare hands, oblivious to the invisible dangers they were exposing themselves to. The concept of radiation safety was yet to be born, and the Curies were walking on a dangerous path, armed only with their scientific zeal. The fruits of their labor were bountiful. They discovered 2 new elements, polonium and radium, and introduced the world to the phenomenon of radioactivity. But this groundbreaking discovery was a double-edged sword. The very substance that brought them fame and recognition also led to their downfall. The prolonged exposure to radioactivity took a toll on their health. Pierre met with an unfortunate accident, his health weakened by radiation exposure. Marie, despite suffering from numerous health issues, continued her work until she succumbed to aplastic anemia, a condition linked to high levels of radiation exposure. While their discovery was groundbreaking, it came at a great personal cost, setting a chilling precedent for the potential dangers of scientific exploration. In 1971, a basement in Stanford University transformed into a disturbingly realistic prison. A social psychologist named Philip Zimbardo orchestrated this chilling scenario known as the Stanford Prison Experiment. This was no ordinary study. Zimbardo and his team sought to delve deep into the human psyche to understand how people react when they are thrust into roles of power and subservience. They randomly assigned 24 students to play either the role of prison guards or prisoners. The prison was a mock setup, but the psychological effects were horrifyingly real. As the days rolled on, the experiment spiraled out of control. The guards began to exhibit sadistic tendencies, while the prisoners started showing signs of extreme stress and depression. The study was intended to last 2 weeks, but it was abruptly halted after just 6 days due to the alarming psychological impact on the participants. The Stanford Prison Experiment was a stark revelation of how easily ordinary individuals can slip into roles of tyranny and submission given the right circumstances. It raised disturbing questions about human nature and our inherent capacity for cruelty. But the experiment also sparked a crucial debate about ethics in psychological research. It underscored the need for stringent guidelines to safeguard the mental well-being of participants. The chilling Stanford Prison Experiment demonstrated the dark side of human nature, forever changing the ethical landscape of psychological research. How far would you go to obey authority? In 1961, a Yale University experiment sought to answer this question. This is the chilling story of the Milgram experiment, a psychological study that probed the depths of human obedience. The study was initiated in 1961, shortly after the commencement of the trial of Nazi war criminal Adolf Eichmann, to understand the factors that contribute to individuals' obedience to authority figures, even when it entailed potentially causing unspeakable harm to others. Imagine yourself in a lab, sitting before a switchboard, your heart pounding as you're instructed to administer electric shocks to a stranger. The shocks increase in intensity with each wrong answer given by the supposed learner in another room. The learner, of course, is an actor and the shocks aren't real, but you don't know that. All you know is the authority figure in the lab coat urging you on, insisting that you must continue. This was the reality for the unwitting participants of Stanley Milgram's experiment. The results were shocking. A staggering 2/3 of participants continued to the highest level of 450 volts. They complied with the authority despite the apparent suffering of the learner. The experiment sparked a whirlwind of controversy. Critics argued it was unethical, that it inflicted emotional stress on the participants. Supporters, however, pointed out its profound implications. It exposed the dark side of obedience, showing how ordinary individuals could be led to commit horrifying acts under the influence of authority. The Milgram experiment revealed the alarming extent of the human capacity for obedience, even when it conflicts with our personal sense of right and wrong, leading us to question our own morality. In 1939, a speech pathologist conducted an experiment on orphans that would later be known as the Monster Study. This chilling title was not randomly chosen, as the experiment was a monstrous deviation from the ethical norms of research. The man behind this study was Wendell Johnson from the University of Iowa, who sought to explore the origins of stuttering. Johnson devised an experiment involving 22 orphaned children, half of whom were subjected to negative speech therapy. This group of children was repeatedly criticized for every minor imperfection in their speech, a stark contrast to the positive encouragement typically given in speech therapy. Instead of uncovering the secrets of stuttering, Johnson's experiment resulted in long-term psychological effects. The children who had been subjected to the negative speech therapy experienced significant declines in self-esteem and developed speech problems that persisted throughout their lives. The backlash was considerable when the details of the experiment were revealed years later. The university issued a public apology in 2001, more than 6 decades after the study was conducted. The ethical implications were glaring. It was a stark reminder of the importance of respect and protection for all participants in scientific research, particularly those who are vulnerable. The Monster Study serves as an eerie reminder of the ethical boundaries that should never be crossed in the pursuit of knowledge. It's a chilling chapter in the annals of scientific research, warning us of the potential harm when ethics are overlooked in the quest for understanding. In 2003, a team of Chinese scientists pushed the boundaries of nature and created a human-animal hybrid. This was no science fiction, but a real-life scientific endeavor, where human cells were inserted into rabbit eggs to form embryos. The goal? To develop a new method for creating stem cells, the body's master cells that can turn into any type of tissue. The team did not let these embryos develop past a few days, but the experiment was enough to ignite a fierce ethical controversy. Critics argued that creating such hybrids was an affront to human dignity and blurred the line between species. Supporters, on the other hand, pointed out the potential for groundbreaking medical advances. This experiment not only challenged our understanding of biology, but also compelled us to confront the ethical limits of scientific experimentation. As we push the boundaries of what is possible, we must ask ourselves, how far is too far? That's all for today, folks. For more brain-boosting content, hit that like and subscribe button. Thanks for watching.